42-3, Michigan dominates Iowa today, Sam, and wins its first Big Ten championship in 17 years. Let that soak in. 17 years, and Michigan is going to the college football playoff.
So I'm going to repeat what I said last week. But I told you, Josh, before this game, in our pregame show, I can't blame you because you weren't there. But in the pregame show, I said Michigan was going to win this game and it was not going to be close. That they were going to win it 35-10. So I was off a little bit by when it came to Michigan's score, 42 points, right? But they were going to win this game going away. Why did I have faith that they were going to win this game going away? On the heels of beating Ohio State in the fashion in which they beat them. And a lot of the national pundits were saying that Michigan wasn't going to be able to put that behind them. They were going to have the hangover effect. And I said, look, this team, the leadership on it, wasn't going to let it suffer from a hangover, from a layover effect. So if you don't trust me, if you don't trust what I say about this team, then trust my mean streak. My mean streak is Aiden Hutchinson. He was not going to let this team falter. He wasn't going to let them fall short of the goal, which was winning the Big Ten championship. And man, when I say, Josh, I mean, this is the second week in a row. He flat out committed a crime on the field. It's assault and battery. It's attempted murder. I mean, it's all kinds of malice and forethought. Whatever crime you want to talk about him doing to another human being. It was that Thayer Mumford dude last week. And I don't know what this right tackle for Iowa, I don't know what his name is. He's on the milk carton. He's missing that. It's bad.
You might have to peel him off the field over there, Sam.
It's bad what he's doing to these tackles. It's amazing that every game he's impacted. That's Heisman Trophy stuff. That's Heisman Trophy stuff.
He'll be in New York, Sam. That's guaranteed.
Best player in the country. And I don't know what else the Lions need to see. See, you got all these people, whenever I bring it up, I don't wish that on Aiden. That's non-Lions fan. This is exactly what you need. A dominant player that is just as much of a presence off the field as he is on it, and he's a hometown dude. Come on, man. It don't get any easier than that. Not even the Lions can mess that up.
I think we just got out of the post-game press conference, and Jim Harbaugh was very. It wasn't that he was over emphatic, but he was very emphatic that he really loves this football team. And this football team, this is one of his favorite teams he's ever coached. And you can just see the passion that he has and the players have for him. It's just, there's just a lot of love on this team.
So I'm going to take you back to the summer. Ferris State, the first camp that coaches, after COVID, they opened up the recruiting period and coaches could go out. And so Jim was at Ferris State for that camp, right? And Jim is, I mean, he's smiling. There's a pep in his step. He's happy. You know, I mean, we've been in this camp a bunch of times. Jim's not looking to talk to media at these camps, right?
No.
I mean, he don't want to talk about anything except the camp. I mean, you got to hide. He's running around. He's ducking and dodging the media. Hell, at this camp, he was waving the media over. He wanted to talk. He wanted to have a conversation. Jim Harbaugh wanted to converse with the media at this camp. And I mean, you could just see it was different. You could tell he felt different. There was just a different vibe about him. Now, he might say that he's the same as he was every season. Maybe with his players, he was the same. But with the media, it was different. He was projecting. It was more his expression of how good he felt about his team. It was more evident to those outside the program.
Right.
And how I took it, he was really confident in what he had coming back. And he was really confident in the impact that these new guys were going to have. Sharon Moore, as the offensive line coach, all the questions, all the doubts. You're replacing a veteran, established offensive line coach like Ed Warner with a dude who hasn't coached it. Like I said last week, yeah. And look at the job that Sharon Moore did this year. That's boss stuff. Right. That's boss stuff by Sharon Moore. And of course, I mean, we talk a lot about Josh Gaddis. I don't need to say Josh Gaddis again. You look at this contest today, you knew it was going to be a boxing night. Last week, Last week, that was a team. They wanted to be in a track meet. Michigan wanted to make it a boxing match. This game, Michigan probably wanted to be a little more of a track meet. They wanted a boxing match. We could do whatever you want to do, is what Michigan said. But they came out, and you saw those big plays early. Huge. That 14-point swing. Iowa missed a touchdown, wide open in the end zone. Michigan comes right back with a big play down the field. That, you could have said that was the game, because Iowa gave you everything they had on that first drive. They didn't have anything else after that. Not anything.
The was there.
Right. And so Michigan had a lot more left in the tank. Great halftime adjustments as that blitz pressure was really, really getting in there. And they came out and opened up a can in the second half. And once they were down 3 scores, it was like an 18-point lead. Iowa does not have the offense to come back from that. So just terrific performance all the way around. Coaches and players finishing this part of the job. Now it's another stage.
So yeah, Harbaugh gets it done. Michigan gets it done. They beat Ohio State. They win the Big Ten championship. We know those were goals on the chalkboard heading into the season. Now there's a chance they can come back and play in this stadium in a month from now.
Yeah.
It all's going to start, most likely going to be an SEC opponent. We all think they're presumably going to play Georgia. I know the team was asked if they think they're number one. I think that, hey, Georgia was 1, Michigan was 2. Who lost today, Sam? Georgia?
Yeah.
So it does, presumably you would think they should go up to number 1. But nevertheless, they're going to play an SEC team, probably Georgia in the next round.
Hey, man, so
thoughts on that game?
Listen to me. Belief is a funny thing, because these dudes have it. They have it, Josh. I talk bad about Ohio State, and deservedly so. They went out and punked out. They went out and quit last week. They went out and tapped out. Michigan made them say mercy. Whatever we can talk bad about. They are a really talented team. And they have been beating the brakes off of Michigan for a long time. And when Michigan and Aiden talked about it, so when they got over that mental hurdle, it was almost like, oh shit.
They said they know they're good.
Shoot.
He said he knows they're a good football team.
Yeah, man. Wait a minute.
We belong here.
We could beat anybody. We could beat any of these dudes. We got the talent to knock off any Bama, Georgia. Who wants some? See, now the great thing about it is, assuming they win the next game, you're right back up this way. It's indoors, but they got to come up to your house. They got to you got the home field advantage now with your guys, your fans, like Michigan fans did today, showed up and showed out. We were walking around Indianapolis last night, like, man, look at all these damn Hawkeye fans. Are Hawkeye fans going to outnumber Michigan fans?
No.
Michigan fans came out strong today.
Michigan just had a shorter drive.
Came out strong today.
Yeah.
Outnumbered them.
Kudos to the Michigan fan base.
It was amazing. So
they showed up.
To answer your question, I don't think Georgia is a complete football team. They have a great defense and an okay offense. Probably the best defense in the country, but complimentary football. You hear Michigan talk about that a lot. The best defense in the country can crack if they aren't getting a whole lot of help from their offense. And I think that's the issue that was exposed. That's the issue that was exposed today. Because Georgia was up, and Bama came storming back, and they're looking for their offense to fight back. Give us something, Hey, man, we taking some blows. Can y'all pick up some slack for us? And their offense couldn't do it. So I think I like Michigan in that game. And frankly, now you look at Bama and you feel like, Saban can never be counted out. His team, it may not be a vintage Bama team, but they still have weapons on offense and they still have playmakers on defense.
Now, I know it was 2 years ago, or a year and a half, 2 years ago, right? We were there. It was in Orlando. Michigan played Bama. They were in that game for, till about halftime. Then Alabama just had too much talent down the stretch run, right? How much did that experience? I know some of these guys weren't maybe even key players in that game, but just facing that Bama team, knowing what it's like to play that caliber of opponent, to see them again, possibly in a month.
See, man, they actually played with that team.
I know. They were in it for about a half.
They were in it. Big plays beat them in that game.
Right.
Busts beat them. Mistakes beat them in that game, but they were going toe-to-toe with Bama. But, hey, man, like you said, you got players on this team, major contributors that didn't play on that squad. And frankly, even if they all did, and that whole squad was returning, the dynamics of this season are different. They are drawing a lot of belief from the adversity that they overcame from last offseason up until now,
Right.
and then beating Ohio State. Believe, Josh. Believe. I'm telling you, man, this is one of those things that once you realize, once you get it in your mind, that man on the other side puts his pants on one leg at a time just like I do. That's why I kept saying it last week when we were talking about Ohio State. Man, these dudes, I mean, they got to sit on the toilet to use the bathroom.
Hey,
Their shoes don't tie themselves.
'tis the season, Christmas Story.
I'm just saying, man.
Scott Vargas, Ralphie gave him a beating. Michigan
Exactly.
did the same thing.
Exactly. And once you punk who's been punking you, you think you can punk anybody. And that's where Michigan is right now. And when you got Aiden Hutchinson out there making these dudes look like they're in elementary school, I mean, you see what I don't know if they showed it on the TV copy, but the play or the series where he had back-to-back pressures, rewind that tape and watch him decleat the right tackle on the first pressure. I mean, it's like the second week in a row where he's just running through these dudes like rag dolls. What did I say? Like crap through a goose with diarrhea? That's what he's running through these dudes like, man. I'm just saying, Josh, when you got a dude that can affect the game like that, you can beat anybody.
All I got to say, the improbable has happened. The storybook season continues, and our coverage of this football team will continue. So stay tuned for all our coverage and more on the MichiganInsider.com.